Hello, good evening. It's Friday. It is over and over and over again. My name is Richard, and this is, of course, the Arsenal Women's Show. Now, what's happened this week? I seem to remember something quite good's happened. So we may need reminding of what happened last weekend, because I'm sure we've all forgotten last Sunday evening. I'm sure we've all forgotten about that already, haven't we? So we might need some reminding. So maybe if you guys in the chat could let us know what you were doing last Sunday evening, what happened, all that sort of stuff. Would be great to hear about that. So we can talk about that. There was some irrelevant game played the other night as well, which we don't really care about. And there is a game on Monday as well, which we don't really care about either, but we're going to talk about them. But it's been a great week, hasn't it? Champions League finalists. How good does that sound? Arsenal are in the Champions League final. Well, it almost hasn't sunk in yet. Nearly a week later, it doesn't sunk in yet for me. It's just incredible, isn't it? What a great week it's been, and we are going to enjoy it. These things don't come around very often. I think it's 18 years, isn't it, since last time we were in a Champions League final. Lots have changed since then, but we are back, and we are back in a final. It's going to be so good. So we're going to look back on last week, and of course we are going to enjoy it, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy the show as well. Of course you are, because we're back. Now, we do have, of course, the Lord with us. Who else would you expect to be with us? How are you this week, my friend?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. What a week we had, and still nearly 1 week later, it seems so unreal what happened last Sunday. And I think we're all more than happy about this performance and the result of our Champions League campaign. Whether we win it or not, I think it's just fantastic to be in the final, and looking forward to discuss everything with you, and looking forward to the comments from our viewers.
Yes, there should be some good comments. Now, of course, you all thought, didn't you, watching the channel tonight, you all thought that the best things happened this week was Arsenal reaching the Champions League final. But we've got something for you now that actually might even top that. If you've been a part of the channel for the last couple of years, we have got a very special guest for you. Somebody you will remember. We are delighted to have him back. It is, of course, Matt. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
Hi, yes, I'm glad to see you both all. I don't know what's going on. I think my internet's playing up a little bit, so do apologise for that. It's been a while, yes, and I do apologise that I haven't been on sooner, but work and things have gotten in the way. But luckily today I've been able to make an appearance, which is great news.
It is great news. It is great to see you. It has been a long time. I've been watching you on, I think it's Vic Akers Wonderland channel as well. You're on there sometimes, which is great. That's a great channel, so do check that out as well. Obviously, Arsenal Women's channel, and Matt does appear on there. So if you do want to see Matt a bit more regularly, you can pop over there and see him on there. But we are grateful and glad to have you back. It's been a long time, and it was.
Oh. Now the boss is gone. It's not.
There we go.
Oh, my camera's just gone mental. I do apologize. I don't know what's going on with it. I've had a few problems with it lately. Anyway, right. We'll be sorted. Don't worry about that. Right. Anyway, so what a time to be back. What a week it's been, as we said. So of course, there's only really one place we can start. We're going to spend most of the show on it, I would imagine. Of course, last Sunday. What an incredible day that was. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I deep down didn't think we were going to be able to do it after the first leg. I really didn't. I wanted to hope that we could, and of course we all hoped that we would do it, but I didn't believe we would do it. I actually thought we were going to come short again like we did a couple of years ago, but that performance was just, it took your breath away almost, how well we played. We had the perfect game plan. We carried it out perfectly, and Lyon, 8 times Champions League winners, did not know how to cope with the way we played, the pressing that we did, just our all-round game was just fantastic. I mean, Andreas, I don't really know. I still, a week near enough, a week later, I still can't really put into words exactly what we saw. It was incredible, wasn't it? What an incredible performance! It was just wow.
Yeah, the best performance of the season from us,
Yeah.
and the learning curve from the team and from the manager after the first leg is immense. We took all their strength out of their game, and our pressing and our midfield, the dominating of the midfield was extreme, and we all know their strength with the pace, with their wingers, etc. But they were unable to bring the ball to their wingers, and I think it was after 30 minutes when the commentator of the German the zone said Arsenal has 70% ball possession. It's unbelievable. It was an away game in Champions League semi-final against one of the two top teams in Europe, and we dominated them in such a way. Of course, we were lucky to score at the best possible moments in a game. If you could order something at the football gods, you would say, let's make an early goal to equalize the total, and then let's score a second short before halftime, and when they regroup and start fresh for the second half, then with our first attack, let's make a quick third goal. Just fantastic, and this broke Lyon. But anyway, I think both managers had thought about the first leg, and Joe Montemurro made the wrong decisions, bringing on Ada Hegerberg and weakened the midfield by taking Daniel van der Donk out. And he didn't react at halftime. I think I thought he would strengthen the midfield, either bring in Van der Donk or Marozsan or Debritz, but he didn't react at halftime. He reacted too late, and René had the better learning curve after the first leg. And the team, they were speaking a whole week about the belief they had to turn this around. And I think this was essential. They really believed it's only one goal. We only need one goal. We can turn it around. And they did. It's unbelievable. And it was just fantastic to watch.
It was, yeah. And I must admit, I was quite surprised at sort of Lyon's approach to the game. Maybe because they were ahead, it was a different game set for them, because, you know, if you haven't got to necessarily win the game, which they didn't need to win, did they? A draw would have put them through. Maybe their mindset was maybe wrong for that game. And we obviously came with one plan, and one plan was to absolutely dominate them, get in their faces. And you're right, we scored the first two goals in particular were perfect timing, weren't they? Right at the start of the first half and just before half time. And that, I think, and then obviously the third one at the start knocked the stuffing out of them, as you said, completely. I mean, they were gone. And in the end, you know, we scored 4. We could have maybe scored a few more, but it didn't matter. We did more than enough than what we needed to do to go through. I mean, Matt, you know, it's been quite a traumatic season, hasn't it, overall for Arsenal, with one thing and another, with the management change early on and the start to the Champions League, and obviously maybe not quite managing to keep up with Chelsea because of the start we had. But when it's kind of mattered in the Champions League, we've somehow found a way, haven't we, to not only progress through, but actually get all the way to the final. I mean, it's been incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of us were, when we set up these expectations, we were expecting us to get to a cup final. We weren't expecting it to be the Champions League cup final in the end. And it shows how much progress that they've made under René in the short amount of time, essentially going from basically bottom of the group in that time to top in the group within the last minute against Bayern Munich, thanks to a Mariona penalty. The one issue I think is that over 2 legs, the team have managed to not do as well as possibly they'd want to. If you're looking to be champions of Europe, you want to be dominating both legs. You can't afford as dominant as as you've seen through the Real Madrid and the Lyon game, when it comes to a cup final, because it's a one-off. And that's the worry, is that in that looking ahead, is that what Arsenal team is going to be the Arsenal team that turned up in the first two legs between Real Madrid and Lyon, or is it going to be the Arsenal that turned up in those second two legs against Lyon and Real Madrid? That's going to be the important factor going into this game, into the final, a couple of weeks' time. But at the moment, I think we can all enjoy it, and I think that's the most important part. We might not go and win it, but we'll have some great memories. I mean, that second goal from Mariona, I think that one probably is like she has no right to be able to wiggle into that short sort of space and get a shot off. And it was just a rocket and a half, and it was a fantastic goal there. But it was just unbelievable how the team have come, and that belief to get that second just before half time. I think that really set the tone for the rest of the 45 minutes in the second half.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and I mean, I think you're right. And what seems to have happened this season with Renee, and yeah, she's still quite a young coach. She's maybe lacked experience at the very, very top level. And maybe you're right. What's happened is, when things haven't gone quite so well in the first leg, she's been able to put it right. Figured out what went wrong, made the changes that's been necessary, and got it right in the second leg, which is fantastic. And as a coach, that's a brilliant ability to be able to do. But as you rightly say, the final's a one-off game. We haven't got the opportunity to learn from mistakes that we might make. We've got to do it on that one day, and we've got to turn up and get the performance right, because we know how good Barcelona are. We saw not many teams beat Chelsea 8-2 on aggregate. As funny as it was for us to watch, that's the sign, isn't it? You know, okay, yeah, not many teams go to Lyon and score 4 either, to be fair. So that we need to take that into account. But yeah, my only concern is, and I agree with you, my concern as well is the fact that Renee's learnt the lessons from previous mistakes, but in a final, you don't get that chance. You've got to do it, haven't you, straight away. From the first minute of that game to the last minute of that game, we have got to be on like we were in the second leg of both of those two games. We've got to do that straight away in the final. And can we do it? I don't know. But at the moment, you're right. Let's not worry too much about the final yet. You know, it is a few weeks away. Let's enjoy what we've witnessed over the last, probably, I don't know, 6-7 months. Most of what we've seen in the last 6 or 7 months since Renee's come in has been really, really good. Yes, there's been a few disappointments. The FA Cup, obviously, the Continental Cup. But it's funny, you're right though, Matt, isn't it? We were maybe expecting Arsenal to be in a cup final. Maybe the FA Cup was the one we were maybe leaning towards. And as it turns out, we've actually got to the final, the biggest one of all. And it's incredible. And what a story it's been, really, for the season. And it's going to finish on a high. And you're right, whether we win or lose the final, yes, obviously it'd be fantastic to win. But whatever happens in that final, I think the story of this season for us has been quite incredible, and for Renee in particular, it's just been not many managers in their first proper job in a big club in Europe get to a Champions League final at the first attempt. Some people never get there at all. So incredible job. And talking about an incredible job, Angie's with us. How you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, I'm good.
I bet you are.
I'm a bit disappointed but I'm not entirely surprised, and I'm sorry you haven't got there yet, with the Aston Villa game. I didn't expect what I saw, i.e. the second half, because I wasn't able to witness the first half. But yeah, just going back to listening to you, what you're saying, yeah, Renee's been incredible. The Renaissance, the resurgence. Yeah, it's been, and more importantly, going back to champion, we started off from scratch. Yeah, we had a few dips in the road, and part of it was personally with Jonas, but we got back in there. But once Renee come along, we saw a light in the tunnel, didn't we? And now we're at the final. God, listen, if we win it, we're all going to be ecstatic. But my goodness, we've got to the final. Well, we've done more than Chelsea. Well, we got a little bit lucky than Chelsea. I'm not going to lie. We did, in fact. But we got there.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think necessarily luck, is it? I don't think luck really plays a part. I mean, yes, okay, we haven't had to play Barcelona as yet, and they did. Yeah, good side. But we 8 times champions, Lyon. They are the biggest name in the Champions League, and we went there and we beat them 4-1. So let Barcelona worry about us. Let them worry about what we can do. Yeah, exactly. Bring it on. You're right. I mean, we will talk about the Aston Villa game briefly. It's just going to spoil the fun. Really, let's be honest. Terry says that game against Villa was embarrassing. Rene was like a fish out of water. Yeah, well, we'll talk about the Villa game a bit later, but I'm not really that bothered, if I'm honest. Joe's with us. How you doing, Joe? Good to see you. Terry says it was like Arteta looking in the mirror and reflection that came back. No.
No.
It was an odd game and an odd selection. The Jenna Nicewonger exclusion was an odd one. Well, yeah, Jenna is used to quick transition pace of the NWSL. The Aston Villa game may have suited her better than Katie Reid. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, there's a few things to talk about in that game, I would imagine. Greg says, evening all, totally agree, Terry. She was naive, putting in squad players. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about it a bit later. What else have we got in here? Terry says, Greg, where have you been? Well, we know where Greg's been. Greg's been, lording it up with the Lord at the Emirates, hasn't he? So we know exactly where Greg's been. Enjoying life. What more can you want, really? There you go. So that's all good stuff, isn't it? 170 Gunner said Slegger's out. Yeah, obviously we've got to a Champions League final.
Leave her.
Perfect. Says. Joe says it shows Arsenal really need to sort out who the driftwood is and bring in some credit. No, absolutely, yeah, that is one thing it did show. I suppose if nothing else. Terry's agreeing with 170 Gunner. I'm not quite sure if we need to agree with him, really, do we? But there you go. Greg says, give Manu another contract. Yeah, absolutely, of course. I'm disagreeing, of course. I mean, why not? 170 Gunner says, giving away the WSL title too easy. Well, no, it wasn't that game, was it? The title went in October or September whenever we lost to Chelsea at home. That's when the title went, realistically. So it wasn't that game, was it? We've been trying to play catch up ever since. And it didn't really happen, did it? LG's with us said that Villa result put a blemish. No, it didn't put a blemish on it. Honestly, I'm not even bothered about that Aston Villa game. Not really. In the overall scheme of things, I couldn't really care less. If I'm totally honest, it doesn't really matter. Terry says, fantastic against Lyon and then back to normal against. But I wouldn't say normal. I wouldn't say Villa's normal, is it? We don't lose 5-2 very often, do we? Ryan says, we need to strengthen the B team so we can give the regulars a rest. Yeah, absolutely, 100% correct. That's exactly what we need to do, and that's maybe one good lesson we can take from this week, is that the first maybe 15 players are really good. Some of the ones below that maybe aren't quite up to the level that we need if we're going to compete with Chelsea for a league title, which is the next step, isn't it? It's got to be. Greg says Lyon were very poor. Barcelona. Well, you see, I thought we made them look poor by the way that we pressed them into mistakes. We pressed the life out of them and they couldn't cope. And that's not because they're a poor team. If we do that to Barcelona, I'll guarantee you Barcelona won't look quite as good as they normally do. But that good, I don't know. We're going to have to see, aren't we? Postcards from Protest says, Rene already does so many things better than Jonas, like playing players in their best positions and to their strengths. Well, yeah, I can't really argue with that. Just to add to the last 2 seasons may have been mediocre, but we always step up in a cup final. That's true. That is actually true. We do normally step up in cup finals, as we've seen. We've beaten Chelsea in the last 2 years in cup finals, and let's face it, Chelsea are generally a better team than us, and we can still beat them in a final. So, yeah, that's a good point, actually. LG says, what Mariona is doing is what Erdegaard should be doing for the men's team. 100%, you're right. She has the ability to change the game.
Sorry, it's not fit. Sorry, I'm going to be in his defence. But anyway,
if he's not fit, leave him at home. Leave him at home if he's not fit.
Sorry, we're not talking about men.
No, we're not. But if you're not fit, you don't play there. Ag says Aston Villa just a bump in the road. Exactly. Yeah, that's all it was. It's,
absolutely.
Somebody else says Katie Reid is not ready. Sell alone in some. I disagree. I think she needs more experience in the team, and she's going to learn from what happened against Aston Villa, as a few others will, and that's fine. That's not a problem. I mean, but we will talk about Aston Villa, and I think there's a few reasons as to what happened that game, and we can talk about that. But we've just reached a Champions League final, our second ever one, and bearing in mind how modern football now is compared to what it was like in 2007, when we were last in the final. The format of the Champions League now, the way it's kind of structured, has completely changed. So this really, although it's technically our second final, it's our first, what I consider, proper Champions League final when it's the Champions League. And when you think that Chelsea reached the final a couple of years ago, and I didn't like that. They lost, obviously. We need to put that right. But the fact that we've now got to a final in the modern game, if you like, I think is the club now. We've got the fan base. We're selling at Emirates, for big games. We're playing at the Emirates more often than not. We've got the structure behind, and now on the pitch, we've gone all the way to the final of the biggest competition that there is in women's club football. The club now need to build on this, don't we? We need to make this the starting point of going forward and getting back to the levels that we showed, 15 years ago when we were winning all the trophies, what Chelsea have done in the last 6 or 7 years. I mean, Andreas, did you think that this is going to be, in a few years' time, we'll look back on this season and this moment reaching the final as being the moment where we were able to really drive the club forward? Because we seem like we've got so far, and then we seem to hit a wall, and we can't quite get over that wall, have we, so far? We keep losing to Chelsea, we keep coming second, we keep losing these Champions League semi-finals and stuff. Do you think this is the moment we'll look back on and say this was the moment it all changed?
I hope so. Maybe this is the season when we arrived among the top teams in Europe. Yeah. I hope so. Last time we were in the semi-finals. The next season we were not even in the group stage of Champions League. So it's difficult. It's a big chance, and it's a massive step for the club and for the team. And as you said, it's like, if you look back 18 years, it was another sort of women's football. Now it's modern times of women's football, and it's more competitive than it was 18 years ago. There are big teams, big quality, and everybody says Barcelona and Lyon are the two best teams in Europe. And I would still say they are the two best teams in Europe, but we managed to beat one of the two best. So maybe we have arrived in top European women's football now. Of course, we were lucky in the draw that we didn't have to play Barcelona. As I always say, you can't beat Barcelona in 2 legs. It's nearly impossible. Maybe you can beat them in 1 game. And City showed it, and the seasons before, Wolfsburg and Bayern did this. So in 1 game, everything is possible. But for us, reaching the final is just a massive step forward. And we have to build on this step and not fall back and be out of Champions League next season and then try to attack again in two years. No, this must be the beginning for us as being among the top teams. Every
Absolutely.
year, we must be able to be in the semi-final every year. We must be respected by the other teams, that they say it's Barcelona, Lyon, and Arsenal, and maybe Chelsea. These are the top teams. So this is a step forward, and of course it's just fantastic. It's still, as I said, it still feels like a dream. And when I was thinking about, should I go to Lisbon for the final, and the flight prices are terrible, and after 1 day thinking about it, I thought, I've seen every Champions League home game in this season, and now missing the final? No, it's the chance of a lifetime. I have to be there, and I will be in Lisbon. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're hoping it's going to be the start of a new era of success for the club that we've not seen before. But you're right, a Champions League final might not come around for a long, long time. We've had to wait a long time for it. So we have to make the most of it. Absolutely. I mean, Matt, what do you think we need to do now to obviously overturn Chelsea's dominance domestically going forward? Because reaching the Champions League final is great, but it has to be the start and not the end, if you see what I mean. It can't be the finish of something. It needs to be the start of something big. But Chelsea are still, 6 league titles in a row now. What do you think we need to? Because I don't think we're miles away from them. What needs to change? Because every year we come up short so far.
This is the problem that we've had is that over the years, Arsenal have done everything off the pitch to get the attendances and everything. And off the pitch, that's brilliant because the attendances and things like that can mean that we can bring in a Mariona Caldente or whoever it might be. There's a possibility that Trinity Rodman might be potentially available for free in the summer. So there might be the opportunity for that for a Trinity Rodman to come in. Or another superstar wherever they're from, and it might be one of these sort of players like the Mariona Caldentes that are going to take you to the next level and make sure that you can be making those moments of magic. Like again, going back to the goal that she scored so many crucial goals this season alone. I think she's up there for player of the season for a lot of fans, I think. But it's about making sure that you get the results. The problem with the way Chelsea go about it, they could play really poorly and still be 0-0, and then within the last 10 minutes of the game, like Leicester a couple of seasons ago, they're going to score 2 goals. Frank Kirby goes and scores one of them, and I can't remember who scored the other one. And that's the difference that Chelsea have to Arsenal. Arsenal will play this fantastic football from minute 1 to 90 minutes, and you're there to be entertained and you want to be there to win. It's just making sure that carry on that winning mentality and not have those lapse in concentration. But throughout the season, there will be times, but it's just making sure that, and I was saying it seems really basic, but if you can get those results and turn a couple of them over, I think we can all sit back over the last couple of years and say, oh, if this result hadn't happened, or if we got to this points here and here, you can point to where the title was won and lost. And it's just making sure when those games come around again, so let's say Chelsea next season, it's got to be the mentality that they do not pick up any points. Simple as that. They cannot be afforded to pick up any points against Arsenal, home or away. And if you face them in a cup final or anything, you've got to make sure that you go out with the mentality that you're going to beat them. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter what minute, even if it's just a last minute tapping like Stina Blackstenius did against Man City in that semi-final for the Conti Cup a couple of years ago. It all creates those moments of magic that you go, I remember that game. It's just things like that where everything needs to come together to make it happen, and they're close. It might be an opportunity that it happens in the final. It might be 0-0, and then say someone scores last minute and wins it for Arsenal, and that's the sort of moments of magic where everyone will remember. And it's just building on those. They're doing everything off it, and they're doing it sometimes off on the pitch. It's just making sure that they can do it not at 99% more of the time than they are doing at the moment.
I think mentality is a good word, and I do think that sometimes that's what's maybe let us down. You know, a couple of years ago when we got close to the league, it was a game against Birmingham, wasn't it? Went out of nowhere, we were terrible, lost that game. We drew a game away at Spurs that we should have won, and that I think that does come down to mentality, because they're generally the games that Chelsea will get those results that they need. And that's the one thing that we do need to. I think the mentality is probably the biggest change that we need. And you get that from players. I think Mariona coming in, it's no surprise, is it? Mariona's won the Champions League with Barcelona. She's won loads and loads.
Okay, yeah, sorry. What hasn't Mariona won? She's world class, literally, isn't she?
The only thing she hasn't won at the moment is the European Championships.
Okay. Well, more importantly, she ain't won it with Arsenal yet, so there's a challenge next.
No, but for me, it's no surprise. We get a player like Mariona come in, and suddenly we're reaching a Champions League final. A player that's been there and done it, and that's what I think we need more of that, because that is that mentality, isn't it? That's that winning mentality. Yes, we've got players that's won the Euros with England. We've got players maybe international level that's won things, but at club level, we don't have enough players that's won the top trophies. Mariona has come in and shown the way. And I think if we can get another couple of players of that ilk coming in, whoever they are, Rodman, whoever it might be, then that's going to step us in that right direction. But up until the other night, we were so close to winning the league that had we got 2 draws against Chelsea instead of those 2 narrow defeats, which we didn't deserve, we actually would have been top of the league this week before the Aston Villa game, because of the points difference. It was 6 points, wasn't it? If you take 2 points off them, add 2 points to us, we'd actually have been above them on goal difference. And it's just those 2 in the end. It's just those 2 games. One under Jonas, of course, when things were a bit different. The one against away under Rene, which again we're unfortunate to lose. But that's how close we are. But every year we seem to say the same thing, don't we? We're very close, but we're not quite close enough. And is it going to be the same in the Champions League? We're very close. We've reached the final. But can we get one of these big ones over the line? And that's what we need to do now, don't we? Because we're not far away. I mean, Ange, this is key, isn't it? Because it isn't like we've got a lot of ground to make up. We've got lots of changes to make. We're almost there, but we need to find that missing ingredient, don't we? To go from being challenging and being good to taking that next step and actually starting to lift these big trophies. Obviously, starting in a few weeks' time, but going forward, we need to overturn Chelsea, don't we? We can't keep having Chelsea winning a league every year. It's just
key. I mean, all right, sorry. What we're doing now, we're in the Champions League final, and I keep banging on because I do the men's game. Listen, if the boys get Champions League, good luck to them. For me, the women is the penultimate thing. It just is like, wow, this is it. The fact we got to the final, but you're so right, Rich, we need to go beyond that. And it goes back to basics. And, of course, Bompasta woman, God, I dislike her. I didn't like the other one. I dislike her. Next, sorry, fact. And she's good, not going to lie. But, yeah, we have to overcome Chelsea now because already we are technically almost good enough. But, yeah, we've got some deadwood that needs to go. We know who they are. Matt, you mentioned Trinity Rodman, and to be honest, I'm really not okay with American players, so it's like, oh, that's a surprise. But silly me, I would follow Instagram, and when I saw that allegedly Trinity Rodman, I've started to do my research. And what was it? She was watching the Arsenal-Liverpool game. Then somebody very close to me laughingly said, "Oh yeah, she'll go Liverpool." And I said, "Yeah, shut up." And I thought, well, that's interesting. Who knows if it's true next? But it's interesting. If we could
absolutely, I mean, any top player that's going to get linked with Arsenal is going to be.
Yeah.
Hang on, are we back? And the fact that we've got to a Champions League final, I think, makes us even more attractive to top players, doesn't it? Because that's what top players want to be playing in the big games, and the fact that we've reached the biggest game of all, I think.
Sorry, and I think everybody will agree with me here. The biggest allure we've got is the Emirates. And yeah, all right, we know it's a fact. Sometimes it can be almost full packed. Sometimes it is totally full capacity. But we've got this amazing stadium. We've got and I hate the word fan, but we've got the fan base. Some of them are a lot newer, and for whatever the reason, the journey, they're with us next. We've got the real loyal supporters that have always been there, or new loyal supporters. But this is another thing that is going to attract people and attract players. Our home and away support is second to none. We are amazing in that respect. I mean, Matt, you go everywhere, don't you? And same as Andreas. I mean, I'm lightweight. I'll do a few Emirates games, but you guys go everywhere. You're so loyal.
Yeah.
You really are.
It is quite difficult sometimes, especially home and away. But like the Villa games, for example, I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway because it's 6 o'clock.
No, fair enough. There's certain games you can never do.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, unfortunately, when it comes to the scheduling of the fixtures, they don't think about the fans getting to games. They just put them on when they feel like it. And I mean, playing on a Wednesday night at 6 o'clock is a ridiculous time to play a game of football when you want fans to go and watch. Who can get to Aston Villa for 6 o'clock? Unless you live in Birmingham, and even then you're probably going to struggle if you work till 5. You've got to get to a game, and no wonder there was only 5,000 there. What a waste of an opportunity to fill stadium like Villa Park for a game against the team like Arsenal that's just reached the Champions League final. They could have absolutely got 20,000 there if they'd actually scheduled a game on a better time. I bet that's TV for you, and that's unfortunate. It's ruined the men's game, and they make ridiculous decisions. You know, how can anybody expect to get to a game at Villa Park at 6 o'clock? It's crazy. Absolutely. Birmingham's a busy city. If you live and work in Birmingham, you're going to struggle to get to Villa Park for a 6 o'clock kickoff. And if you're coming from London, you've got absolutely no chance unless you take about 2 days off work. It's crazy.
Sorry, can I just say, I mean, fair play to Villa. It really was their night. And for anybody who actually supports their women, well, they were living their best lives. All right, we give it to them for whatever reasons, and we will discuss that. But yeah, once again, for those Villa, the people who support the women's game, that was their best night ever.
Yeah. Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, they obviously, the fans that were there obviously enjoyed it, but yeah, it could have been so much better for everybody had they kicked off at 8 o'clock like a normal game.
Well, yeah.
But they had was it the Chelsea game they scheduled for later on? That was why, wasn't it? So they had to play one first and then the other one later. Stupid decision. Play them on different nights. Don't be silly. Come on. Greg says the only way we'll keep challenging is if we start buying top players, which I doubt the board will allow. Well, that is going to be key. Obviously, you don't win anything unless you've got top players, and the more top players you get, the better chance you've got. Will the board support it? I don't know. You have to say.
I would actually challenge that. We've got talented players in the academy at the moment that are out on loan. Taya Goldie's been looked at by London City Lionesses. Freya Godfrey's also at London City Lionesses. Leah Harbert is doing it really well at Southampton. So's Vivian Leah. I had to get that. You have to remember Vivian Leah as well, the winger. There are players in there that you don't have to always go out and buy these players. These players can develop and go into the team straight away.
Yeah, no, you're right. We have got some very, very good young players. But if we're going to be winning the league, you do need players with a bit more experience as well, don't you? Like a Mariona type player that's won it all. And the young players are going to contribute, absolutely, and we need them to. But we also need to add to the squad with those world-class Mariona type players, don't we? If we're going to really... look at Chelsea's squad. They don't have too many young players playing regularly, do they? They've got experienced winners in their team on a regular basis, and that's why they do as well as they do. And if we're going to overtake them and go beyond that, we're probably going to need a couple more real top players. But yeah, you're right about the young players. They're doing really well. I mean, Taya Goldie against us in that FA Cup game. Wow, what a performance. She was fantastic. She's been doing that all season as well. You know, she's a brilliant player. And yeah, I agree. She probably will be ready next season to step into the squad. Absolutely. And some of the others as well, like you mentioned, Vivian Leah, Michelle Aubameyang, of course, scored for England. And she's not going to be not far away either, is she?
I'll tell you something, she'd be my first choice. I haven't watched her that much, but I've just got a feeling about her. And she'd be my... listen, I'll call it out. Get rid of her, Tig. Sorry if it offends anyone. She ain't done nothing. And I'm sorry about her personal wishes and a bit ill. I don't care. Next, I'd rather have Michelle win.
Yeah, no, I agree. Michelle looks a very, very good player.
She's got the physicality. She's got it.
She's got it all. She just needs a bit more experience at that top level.
Of course.
Playing for England and scoring for England after 10 seconds, whatever it was, is going to help her as well.
That was beautiful. Oh, I really enjoyed that.
We enjoyed that. That was brilliant. It's great to see a young Arsenal player doing great stuff for England. You know, we've had a few, haven't we? Obviously, we've got Leah Williams, of course, who's come through and doing it at the top level for England, winning trophies and stuff. So yeah, it's great. And yeah, it'd be nice to see some of these young players obviously contribute a lot more next. I'm sure they will. I'm convinced that they will. But to challenge Chelsea to win the league, we are going to need a bit more than that.
You do need experience without doubt.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Greg says we've only got 9,000 tickets for the final. Yeah, we have. And it's a 50,000 stadium. You know, it's a 50,000 stadium. We've got more than 9,000 season ticket holders, I would imagine, for the women's team. You know, I can't believe that we're not given. I mean, in a 50,000, okay, yeah, you've got corporate seats and this, that, and the other, right? And of course, Barcelona will need 500 fans to come along, won't they? But why aren't they giving us, and why aren't they giving the two teams like 15, 20,000 each? It's the biggest game of your life. And 9,000 Arsenal tickets when we could easily sell 5 times that amount. 10 times that amount, we could potentially, couldn't we? I mean, Andreas, obviously you've booked your flight. Have you got your ticket as well? Because they was on sale to season ticket holders. Was it today?
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I already ordered a ticket or not, but then I checked my mails on Monday, and I already ordered the ticket in February. So I was very optimistic. I had Arsenal and Bayern in the competition, so I was very optimistic. No, I thought that probably I will be able to resell it if none of my teams reach the final. And yeah, fortunately, I made this decision in February, so I have my ticket. But yeah, yes, I also think that a lot of Gunners or Arsenal supporters will travel to Lisbon. But yeah, let's not be too critical. Let's just enjoy the fact that we are in the final. And yeah, I agree with Angie that we have to include our youngsters, but not too many of them. Maybe two of them, and we can't have a squad with 15 top players and 6 or 7 youngsters. That's not possible to be competitive then. I mean, we don't want the Chelsea way, but look what Chelsea is doing. Look what they are doing at the transfer market. If they see a small chance to upgrade a position in which they have a world-class player, but there is an even better player in the market, then they sign her. And of course, they have young players like Aggie Beaver-Jones or Micah Hamano in the squad, but they are not the regular starters or not the players that make the difference. And yeah, they have more than 40 players under contract, and they can't put
their
them
model's not sustainable, is it?
Yeah, they can only bring 25 players for the WSL and Champions League, but they have more than 40 under contract. I don't want the Chelsea way, but we must take the best for us out of the way they are doing business. And this means we can't always look in the past and say, oh, this player was great for us 5 or 10 years ago, or 3 years ago she was world class. I don't say any names, but we must look at
we know who you mean. We know who you mean.
Yeah, we must look at the now and the future. And if there's a chance to have an upgrade for our squad, we must sign world-class players. We see what a difference Mariona makes. She's currently the best player in the WSL, not only for Arsenal but for the whole league, and she makes a difference. And and all respect to Barcelona, they lost Mariona, one of their best players, before the season, and mid-season they lost Kira Walsh, who was a starting in the starting lineup in every game as a holding midfielder. And look how Barcelona is still dominating the league and the Champions League. So we have to learn also from them. I think they always, every season, they bring young players in their squad and they develop well. They change, or they lost their manager, have a new manager and nobody has ever heard before. So they are playing the same system in their academy teams from I don't know, from the U10 to U15 and U17. So the young players find the way to the first team squad easier than in our team. That's what I say. We must learn what are others doing better, and what can we adapt from Barcelona, from Chelsea, from Lyon. We don't have to copy them. As I said, I don't want the Chelsea way of throwing millions of pounds away for
agree. Totally agree.
40 players under contract. I don't want this, but I want us to be more ruthless in the transfer market and sometimes more ruthless against players very, very well in the past. So we have now a very good chance with reaching the final and the attendance. No player coming to Arsenal because we are playing at the Emirates and have 45,000 every game. They want to come to Arsenal because we are a successful club and they have the chance to win trophies, domestic trophies, but also be competitive in the Champions League. And altogether, this is a big opportunity now. We have the attendance and we are successful in Europe. So let's do the next step and win domestic trophies.
That's what we've got to do. Absolutely, that's what we've got to do. And you said it before, Andreas. We reached the semi-final of the Champions League 2 years ago. The following season, we didn't even qualify. We can't get to the final this year and not build on it. And by building on it, that means next season going far into the Champions League again. Looking at semi-final at least, kind of thing. But this next season, we need to be putting in a more serious challenge to Chelsea in the league. We've got to. We can't allow Chelsea to get away from us again like we did this season and playing catch up, because they're not going to give it up that easily. We are going to have to improve in a few aspects of everything. Like you said, it's to me, it's not just about one or two games here and there. It's a whole mentality thing throughout the whole season, and that's the one thing that we've got to improve. And getting some players in with that mentality like Mariona is going to be key, definitely. But we've got to build on this. Whatever happens in the final, this can't be just a one-off incredible achievement. It's got to be, I said before, it's got to be the start of a big time for the club now going forward. We've got to make the most of this and use it to our advantage. Get the big players in. If it means spending a bit of money, if the board need to spend that money, spend the money that we need to spend. Don't do it like you said, not the Chelsea way. No, we don't want to. I don't want to see that happen. It'd be better to do it in a way where we can use our own young players as well as part of it, but get those experienced bodies in that know how to get it over the line, get stuff over the line. And if we do that, the next few years could be so exciting, couldn't they? They really, really could. But I mean, obviously, you mentioned before about the ticket situation, but I think 9,000 for the game it is for two clubs with big. I mean, Barcelona have sold out their stadium before for the women's team. We've sold out our stadium before for the women's team. Surely they've got to give the clubs more actual tickets. Yes, there's ways of getting tickets. There'll be tickets in neutral sections and stuff like that. But we've got to allow the most amount of fans possible to get to that game, because it could be. Hopefully, it won't be. It could be a once in a lifetime opportunity for us to be there, couldn't it? It might not happen again. It took 18 years for us to get to a final in the first place. So we need to. More people need to be able to get there and see it. But talking about that, I've been hearing a few hopeful kind of stories that maybe Arsenal might screen the game at the Emirates, because they're screening the second leg of the men's semi-final. I mean, Matt, have you heard anything about that? Do you think that's likely that they might put a screening on at the Emirates at the final?
I haven't heard any of that, but this is one of the things that I remember from the 2014 men's FA Cup, the game against Hull City. I remember just sitting and watching it. I think there was only about a couple of thousand there. There wasn't that many, but to be that close to Wembley and at Arsenal's home ground with that many fans, just knowing that you're there as a group probably meant a lot more than just being sat at home and just watching a game at 5 o'clock. And this is one thing that I would love to happen. I'd like for it to happen. I've tried to talk to someone about this through the Supporters Club, and they've said that they're hoping that it happens. But I think it's ongoing. I think what's probably most likely going to happen is because of what's happening with the men's Champions League semi-final. They don't know what's going to happen. So whether they might decide if that they're going to screen that instead. But it would be nice if they were able to do both, because I think they also have to be careful with events around the Emirates, because they only get a certain amount that they can do each year. So they've got to be really careful with what they pick and choose. But I think that one would be probably the most ideal, because you'll probably get over 10,000, and if you're looking to sell shirts and things for the new season, you'll get a lot more money through the door than say men's Champions League final, where you're probably looking at you probably make maybe 10% of what they would make through the women's. One of the things is that Arsenal, in terms of merch and everything else that they do, we're more profitable than other teams in the league. So say take a Chelsea. So we've got more money to play with in the transfer market, say, so to pay the players more. So when this time around the contracts are coming up and they need to be changed, that's the sort of leeway that they have, so that they can afford to say keep players like a Mariona Caldense at the club for the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Any way that we can, we need to generate as much money as possible from sponsorships, from merchandise, from fans through the game, whatever it is. And I think that it would be, if the club don't screen the game at the Emirates, I think they've missed a massive opportunity, a really big opportunity to, for merchandise, for ticket sales. I know it costs a lot of money to put that on, and and it's not just as straightforward as we may think it is, and we know that's not the case. But surely they've got to try to get it screened. I mean, Ange, would you go if they put it on at the Emirates? Would you go?
Do you know what? It's interesting because a lovely chap who's Facebook friend, and I'm on several groups. I'm going to name him. Lovely chap, Kevin Parkinson. He was saying they're going to do it, and I did share it on my own little wee group, that they're going to do it for the men live screening, and hopefully for the women's final. But this was a members thing, and I'm not actually a member. I just, it's like pay-per-view. We just get the tickets at the time. But if I was able to go, of course I'd go. I'd love it. Because you want to be around your people. Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, I'd love it. I mean, at the moment, sorry, I can't afford to go to Lisbon. I'm so blessed to go with the 43-inch 4K Ultra, which really ain't that impressive. But I'm going to watch the Zone next. Do you know what I mean? I'll be on your chat. Rich. That's what I'm saying, mate. But no, I'd love to go to the Emirates and have it on a huge screen. I'd love it. But would it happen?
The atmosphere would be amazing, wouldn't it? If they put it on the Emirates, it would just be incredible. I would go down to that, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
I just think it would be an amazing event. And I think the club are missing out on a big opportunity. If they don't at least try to do it, and I can't understand why they haven't even sort of put plans together. Maybe they have, but they should be making it clear, because they need to sell tickets and stuff like that, and people need to make arrangements to go, and they need to sort it out, because it's still three or 4 weeks away, but even so, it's going to come around quickly, and arrangements need to be made. So come on, figure out, get it sorted, get a big screening, and show the game at the Emirates, because that would be something quite special. And I think that they'd sell enough tickets to make it profitable, and as we said, the merchandise and God knows what else as well. So I think they need to do it, because that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? That really would be fantastic. Joe says Chelsea fans are not impressed with Walsh. Must confess that I was at the time very relieved that Arsenal failed to sign it. Was you? See, I at the time I kind of really wanted us to sign it, actually, but anyway, we didn't. Ag says yes, Mariona is amazing. Well, yeah, she is amazing. There's no doubt, is it? Which is good. Greg says Barcelona scout the best young players in Europe. We should do the same. Well, I mean, we're not doing too badly with our young players, are we? At the minute, we've got some players. So, we're doing a fairly decent job there. So let's see. Ag says Barcelona only have to search in Spain. Well, I mean, I don't know if is it only Spanish? I'm sure they must have some players from elsewhere as well, haven't they? They will have. Terry says Chelsea wants to win. We just want to compete. We never go the whole hog. Well, no, you're right. We haven't done, and that's what we need to do now. Don't we? We need to find that way of making that next step forward to go from competing to winning, and it's the biggest step of all, isn't it? Going from being third in the league to reaching a Champions League final is not necessarily easy, but it's not a massive leap. But going from reaching a Champions League final to winning consecutive WSL titles and winning a Champions League is a massive step, and that's what we've got to find a way to do it, haven't we? Because that's what it's all about. There's no point otherwise, is it? Greg says screen the women and cancel Robbie Williams. I'd agree with you there, my friend.
Do you know, I'm sorry, I'm so gutted. I'm a huge Robbie fan, and I was at flipping work next, so I won't be able to go. No, I don't. Oh God, no! Don't put me in that situation. Don't put me in that situation. Not that I'm going to see Robbie, but I'm a huge Robbie fan.
When's Robbie playing the Emirates in? Is it in the summer?
I don't know. No, it doesn't clash. I'm sure. Well, I don't think it does.
It won't be the same day, but obviously, maybe putting on numerous events, as Matt mentioned before, maybe we can't do that. So maybe having Robbie Williams on is I don't know. The 6th of June. It's the 6th of June, apparently. It's the 6th of June is when.
Right, that's okay then. That's fine.
It's only a week, 2 weeks later, isn't it? It's only 2 weeks later, so I don't know. But yeah, cancel Robbie Williams because he's past it. He was good in the 90s. He's no good now, is he? Come on. This is the Arsenal winning Champions League final. Come on, what's more important? But anyway,
yeah, you're right.
Hopefully it won't be a choice of one or the other. Hopefully they can do both and get it sorted. Come on, Arsenal, get it sorted, because we want to go to the Emirates and watch it with our own people. That's what we want to do, don't we? It's no good. Like you said, Ange, you can watch it on a 50-inch screen, but if you're on your own in your house, it's not the same, is it, as watching it at the Emirates with all the Arsenal fans?
No, I totally agree. And it's a 43-inch, ain't that big, Nick?
Oh, okay. Laker says they're sell Manu to Chelsea. Yeah, can we? That's a good idea now. I'd like that. That'd be good. They definitely won't win the league next season if she's in goal for them. That's for certain.
God, yeah.
I mean, talking of which, I suppose we're going to have to look at the Aston Villa game, aren't we? I suppose we're going to have to briefly, because it did happen. I think, we might not want it to have happened, but it did happen. So we're going to have to talk about it. I mean, let's be honest. In the overall scheme of things, what happened on Sunday, I really didn't care too much that this game went the way it did. It was not great, is it? Let's be honest. Letting in 5 goals against anyone is not what Arsenal do. And the performance was way, way, way below the levels that we would expect. But I think in the circumstances, Leah Williamson touched on it, didn't she, after the game, that maybe more mentally than anything, the mental kind of toll took it out of us, didn't it, going into that game? It was quite a quick turnaround. Playing on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock when we, were playing in the semi-final Sunday, wasn't ideal, and it obviously didn't help us. But I thought it was the right choice to rest some players because that game in the overall scheme. I mean, imagine if we'd played all our top players from the start, a couple got injured and would miss the final. Yeah, that's a fact. The league had gone really anyway, let's be honest. Looking at the games, Chelsea wasn't going to lose 2 games, were they, that we needed them to. It's in the overall scheme of things, that Aston Villa game, I wasn't actually that bothered, I've got to be honest. In fact, I almost laughed at some of the goals we conceded. It was like Sunday League. It was ridiculous. I mean, we mentioned Manu to Chelsea. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a goalkeeper as bad as she was in that game. It was awful, honestly, terrible. But, in the overall context of where that game was, I'm not bothered. I don't really care that we lost that game. I was quite pleased that we got a couple of goals. It was interesting for 5 minutes when we scored. Are we going to stage a comeback of that we've never we've had a few comebacks. That would have been quite extraordinary from 4-0 down. But in the end, obviously we got what we deserved from the game, and we forget about it and move on. And Chelsea have won the league, and fair play to them. They were always going to win the league anyway. It wasn't because of this one game. So yeah, I mean, frustrating, I suppose. But I mean, Andreas, were you that bothered about that game particularly? Because I wasn't. I didn't really care that much that we lost, if I'm honest. I know it's unusual to say, but in the circumstances, I wasn't overly bothered. And the fact that Man U lost afterwards meant it didn't even matter anyway.
Yeah,
but yes, if I had to choose between winning in Lyon or winning at Villa, of course I would have chosen the Lyon win. But I haven't seen the game because I was in Cologne with my friends, and there was the German Cup final on Thursday, and on Wednesday evening we went out in a sports bar. Of course, we were watching football, but you can imagine that the German sports bar doesn't show a WSL women's game. We saw Barcelona versus Inter, the men's Champions League game, and I only watched the highlights from our game, and it was not only frustrating, it was hurting to see us concede 5 goals against a team who was struggling against relegation the whole season. And you can't say it's a too quick turnaround, and all the emotions from the Champions League 3 days before. I mean, Chelsea was very disappointed on Sunday. They had their big Champions League game against Barcelona, were humiliated at home, and they had to play 3 days later too. And look what they did. They won their game. They always find a way to win, and that's once again this mentality. I don't know what difference. Maybe we made too many changes, or I wouldn't give Renee too many points for this game, for her lineup. Bringing on Lotta for the first time after long injury time out, and starting her, then starting Vicky in midfield, starting Katie Reed on right back. Maybe it was too many changes, and this didn't click because we don't make many changes in the lineup in the last few weeks. It's normally 7, 8 players who always start, and then you go to Villa and you make the big changes and bring in players who haven't played for weeks, for months. There's no excuse to say we have this mental high 3 days before. Chelsea had the mental down 3 days before, and they won against one of the best teams in the WSL. So it was really frustrating and disappointing. And a word to our goalkeeper. I mean, when you have 6 shots on goal and 5 are in, you could start with 11 players and no goalkeeper, then it can't be worse. Or what I was saying for weeks now, why not start Naomi Williams? She can't do worse.
I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. No, sorry.
He's a big talent.
Sorry.
And I always read that she's so good, doing so good in the U21 or academy teams. Give her a chance. She can't do worse. I mean, for Manu, maybe it's also a mental problem now. I'm sure she knows about all the critics, and she knows that she plays a weak season. And then, one thing adds to the other, and one bad performance, and then the next, she has no self-confidence. But it's everything missing in her game. Her footwork is worse. She's not positioned right. She's coming out too late, and it's a different Manu than a few years ago. I was never convinced that she's the best goalkeeper in the WSL, but she was better 2-3 years ago than she is now. And but anyway, it was not only to Manu. The whole team performed bad, and the manager made the wrong decisions. And it's disappointing and frustrating to lose against a team like Villa, who was struggling to stay in the WSL. And not only to lose, you can lose 1-0 to such a team, and you say we were so unlucky, or they scored a lucky goal, or got a penalty. But conceding 5 goals against them, it was not good. And we spoke about Champions League, and that we want to build on the success this season, so we have to qualify for next season's Champions League. And if you finish third in the WSL, you have to play the qualifiers, and we know what can happen in the qualifiers. So let's try to finish second, and then we are all already qualified for it's not group stage, it's the league stage next season. So second place is important for us.
Absolutely, no. Second place is important for us, and it is. And I mean, see, Chelsea did have their semi-final on Sunday as well. It kicks off before ours, so they had a little bit more rest. But even so, yes, and they did kick off later against Man U, so they did have more rest there as well. Plus, they didn't have to go through the emotional excitement that we did, and I do think that's different. And when you've lost the game, you're more determined to win your next one, whereas when you've just won a semi-final, look historically, most teams that win a big semi-final tend to lose their next game, whoever they play against. It's just it's coming down from that big high, and it happens so many times. So I wasn't surprised we lost that game. I wasn't surprised Chelsea won their game. Bearing in mind, Chelsea had the league title to win. It's a totally different mindset. All we had to do was try and make sure we finished second. We've just reached the Champions League final. The players didn't want to play that game. You could see they just didn't really want to play it. They had to, and they went out there and probably did the best they could do at the time, but they didn't want to play the game. It was an inconvenience to everybody, and that was the result of it. And, it doesn't look great on paper, and I don't think it's going to make any difference to the end of the season. I think we'll put that behind us, not give it too much thought, and we'll be back to more like our normal selves, I'm sure, on Monday. But, I mean, Matt, what did you make of that Villa game? Because were you particularly worried about the performance, or some of the players who came in didn't exactly set the world on fire? And as rightly said, they've not played much, so maybe we can understand it to a certain degree. But was you really that bothered that we lost that game in the overall scheme of things?
I think it was more of the disappointment of how it was. It was very, very basic mistakes. I don't want to pick on people, but Katie McCabe running back towards your own goal. Katie McCabe hits that into Rosette. She doesn't run back towards the goalkeeper and say, "Look, you need to take it off me." But there were some goals in there that I looked at as if to say, fair, like the Kirsty Hansen one, the second one from outside the box. It's a rocket. You can't stop that. Full stop. So it was just how it was done, and I think it's going to probably make the team better because they've had to go through it together. But at the same time, Ronnie's got to put it on her shoulders as well because she was the one that put this lineup out. There should have been probably more players. You could probably argue there was probably more players that should have been rested. I think Katie McCabe's now played more minutes than anyone else this season. So that is a concern because sooner or later you do get burnout. You can't consistently every single season be playing 90 minutes plus added time every single season. Sooner or later something's going to happen and it's going to cause more issues down the line. And then you could, if you go, oh no, we haven't got a left back because we've got Steph Catley playing at centre back, and then square pegs round holes sort of scenarios. I think someone's mentioned Jenna Neiswinger, who should have been potentially been playing. That's a good shout. Rosa Kafaji wasn't even on the bench. It was just players that haven't been playing, and instead of saying to some of those players that ended up coming on the pitch, especially after Lyon, maybe it would have been better to say, look, you're going to have a full rest. You're going to have a tight 90-minute rest just to sort of get your levels back up again, because sometimes you do need that. When it comes to goalkeepers, you can't be consistently switching them off and on. So when Manu's come in, there has been that inconsistency you've seen this season. But this is going to be the last season we're going to see of Manu, and whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. It's just what's going to happen with that second goalkeeper spot next season. Who's going to step into that? Because that would be the interesting one. Watching Naomi Campbell in. Naomi Williams. Sorry,
Naomi Campbell. Naomi goal. She's better than Manu.
Naomi Williams in that warm up. She was in that warm up against Lyon. She was really on it. She looked really inspired by. I think it was just by the crowd. So maybe that might be a good shout. Maybe that she might go out on loan next season. But we'll wait and see with that. But at the moment, the whole game, it felt very un-Arsenal, like how you go and lose a game. If you go and lose a game, you go to lose by the odd goal. You don't lose by 6 and well, it wasn't 6 and 7, but it could have if you're going to give the ball away. Very, very, pretty much just say to Rachel Daly, "Here's the ball, have your shot," and she says, "Thank you very much."
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad performance, but I still believe that had we swap goalkeepers, and bearing in mind Sabrina D'Angelo was playing for us last season, I think if she'd been in goal for us and Manu had been in goal for them, I think we win that game, even how poor we were, because Sabrina made some good saves, didn't she, for Aston Villa? She made 3 or 4 really good saves, and we could have easily scored 4 goals ourselves, 4 or 5 ourselves, and she probably saves 2 or 3 of the Villa goals that that Manu was slow reacting to. I mean, the third goal, that was honestly, that was ridiculous. I know, Katie McCabe, you're right, should have booted that ball out of the ground. But when it did go through, what is Manu doing there? Honestly, I don't know. But anyway, we lost the game, and yes, I think that I'm prepared to give them the benefit of the doubt for the circumstance of the game, to be honest. Yes, you don't want to see Arsenal letting 5 goals. The manner in which we lost wasn't good to see, was it? It was quite depressing. But having said that, we're in the Champions League final and Chelsea aren't. So, But, at the end of the day, they won the league, but, it is what it is. I mean, Angie, what did you make of the Villa game? I know you missed the first half.
Yeah, I did miss the first half. I wouldn't have got home for 6 o'clock, and then we had a late parent next. So, yeah, basically, I settled in for I tell a lie, but I got in my car heading off home because I don't work far from home, and I'd seen it was 0-0, and I thought, okay, yeah, it's fine. By the time I got in, I thought, what, 2 to them? I thought, okay, right, settle down, quick bit of food, whatever. Tune into you, Richard, because I'm loyal. Next. And then Sunday, and then, of course, the Katie McCabe, Manu, and I thought, oh, my God. And then after that, when you're watching something, and listen, I've listened to everybody, their take on it. And I thought, well, in the great scheme of things, because also knowing that you had Chelsea and Man United, and I thought, well, my God, Chelsea are going to win it anyway. All I need is a point. I'm sorry, we were never going to win it back. So, but more important, it's about keeping the second slot. So that was my bigger issue. Yeah, I was just kind of going through the motions. I think at one point I had you on in the background, Rich, but I was just like watching in disbelief. It was like, seriously? But equally, I get. See, I am such a big supporter of Rene, and yeah, it doesn't always work out, does it? But most importantly, yeah. Well, first of all, let's be blunt here. Dad, she's on an injury. She was injected up to the hill. Even the pundits, I wasn't listening to, the commentators when they were saying her injections worn off. Well, that was spot on. That girl needs to be obviously she ain't got broken ankles, but she's got an injury enough that you need to protect her now for the final. We know this. And then listen, I love Manu for her passion, but unfortunately, as my lovely Dutch friend, she calls her tree burger. She has her moments, but there ain't many, and she has progressively got worse. And when it's like it's like, and I don't want to give hate to anyone, and I see that toxicity on flipping Facebook next. So yeah, you can have an opinion, but don't be toxic about it. I just want to go gracefully, and let's find ourselves a decent number 2. And as I spoke to my Steve about it, yeah, he actually thought of, and I really didn't take much notice of her, but when we played Leicester, he quite rated the Leicester keeper as a number 2.
Yeah.
I really didn't take notice of her, but I thought, ooh, yeah, you need a good number 2 because who will accept their number 2? But to come to somewhere like the Arsenal and be number 2, because at the moment the men haven't achieved that. Sorry, fact. But for the women, if you can get someone in who could have the potential and is prepared to be the number 2. And the young girl, I don't want to give the hate to, what's her name? Naomi. I don't want to give the hate to her, but I have watched people. Yeah. Bless her. But she needs to go out on loan.
Yeah, probably she does. Yeah, I agree.
She really, really does. Because when I watched her, when they did that Australian thing back in the summer, and I actually watched the Australia. I was fortunate enough to be at home. It was in the morning and it was a freebie. And the young Australian keeper, she had that stance about her. And I thought, yeah, you're something in the making. Our poor girl, our women protected her so much. And I thought, no. But I hope she can progress, but she needs to go on loan, simple. So no disrespect, Andreas. I would actually argue, hate to say it, she's worse than Manu next. No, through no fault of her own, because she's young. There's no hate. But,
No. I mean, to be honest with you, I know finishing second in the league is massively important for next season's preparations and stuff like that. But I would actually play Manu in the last 2 league games just because I don't want Daphne to be injured. Because if Daphne was injured and couldn't play in the final, honestly,
it would be detrimental because we stand half a chance with Daphne.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, exactly. And I know she is carrying a bit of an injury. She went down in the semi-final, didn't she? And I was really worried that she might have to go off. And Manu warming up, and I'm thinking, oh my God,
Is this
going to go wrong? But so I would wrap her in cotton wool for the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
Don't let her train. Don't do anything. Just keep her at home. Put her leg in one of them like heated sock things and make sure that she's 100% right for that final. And yes, it's going to make it more difficult to win the last 2 league games without her in goal. But you know, at the end of the day, as Joe says there, with a first team goalie, hang on, that wasn't that one there. Someone said about Lucky said there, big teams have 2 great goalkeepers, City and Chelsea. Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem we've got ourselves in. Yeah. We should be able to rest Daphne for the last 2 games because we have someone good to come in and we haven't. So we've got a bit of a dilemma. Joe says there, would a first team goalie wish to sit on the bench and be number 2 goalie? Well, they would look on it as they're going to put pressure on the number 1 and try to win that spot, aren't they? Yeah. You know, they're not going to look at, oh, I'm coming to be a number 2. They're going to say, I'm coming to put pressure on the number 1 and try and take my chance. And that's what you want. You need competition, don't you? And you're right. If someone's playing regularly for a WSL team right at the moment, say a team like, I mean, we'll use Aston Villa because Sabrina's playing regularly for them. She was on our bench, and obviously that was why she left. Are you going to want to come and sit on a bench somewhere else? But you've got to look at your career, haven't you? If you've got a chance to play for Arsenal, and even if you're going to be on a bench in the Champions League final, surely it's better than playing for Aston Villa against Leicester in the WSL, isn't it? Surely, as a career move, it's got to be better. So I think that we can get a really good goalkeeper as a number 2 to put pressure on Daphne. Not that she needs pressure on her, but you need to have that. Like you said, no top team is you're not going to be successful with only one good goalkeeper because your good goalkeeper ain't going to be able to play every game. And
fact,
you need to make sure that you can still win games with your second choice goalkeeper. Sabrina was a good second choice goalkeeper actually, and it's just a shame that she's ended up leaving, and we're in this situation now that we're in. Greg says we got rid of the wrong keeper at the end of last season. Well, yeah, obviously we did. And that game on Wednesday kind of proved it, didn't it? If nothing else, that's one thing it did prove. Actually, so will London City Lionesses win second league? It looks that way. It looks it's looking pretty. They're top now with one game left. Yeah, so they're almost there, aren't they? Lucky says if London City get promoted, they'll be a threat. In a few seasons. Yeah, no, I agree. I think they will. They've got investment, haven't they? And I think they will be a threat. Absolutely. LG says Mel Fromes as a number 2. Yeah, that would be a good shout as a number 2. Absolutely. But let's see what happens. I'm sure we're going to get a goalkeeper in the summer. We have to. There's no doubt. But I say for the last 2 games, I would actually play Manu. As much as I don't think she's good enough, I would play her just because the final. Actually, that's a good point, Andres. Do you think the final is more important than finishing second in the league?
Yeah, the final is more important, but I would play Naomi Williams on Monday away at Brighton, and then hope that Daphne is able to play against Man United. But for a new number 2 goalkeeper, yes, Mel Fromes is one name I'm thinking about. What about bringing Ellie Roebuck back to the WSL? She's not playing in Barcelona. She's number 2 there. If she's number 2 there, she can be number 2 at Arsenal, but she would be back home in her country. Or I'm watching all the games of Bayern Munich. There is the new number 1 is Ena Mutovic. She's only 19 years young, and Mala Gross, the former number 1, 22 or 23 years. She's sitting on the bench. There was the German Cup final on Thursday, and Mala Gross was on the bench again. I don't think that she will want to be number 2 in Munich. And there was an interview from her a few months ago that she's dreaming about playing in the WSL someday. So there are a few names you could go for, and we really need a very good number 2 because everything can happen. Our number 1 can catch an injury. We saw that this happened twice now before important games, and then you must have a number 2 where you can rely on, and a goalkeeper who gives faith and trust to the defenders. And you see the difference how our defense plays when Daphne is in goal. They know if they make a mistake, there is a world-class goalkeeper behind them. And with Manu, they know, if I make a mistake, it's probably a goal against us. So, it's it's a problem, and we have to
No,
solve
it
this.
is a problem. It is. No, it is a problem. It is a problem, and it is a problem that we hopefully have only got for 2 more games, and then it will get solved over. Well, I suppose 3 more games. So we've got a final to negotiate as well with Daphne that doesn't look 100% fit. Which
no, she'll be fine. Keep the faith. She'll be fine.
Well, I'm hoping she'll be fine. Obviously,
sorry.
But yeah. I mean, Matt, do you think that finishing second in the league is as important as a cup final, or is obviously it's a Champions League final, but finishing second is important, isn't it? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you've got to take into account what's going to happen next season. Essentially, after the Euros, you're only going to have a small window of break. And the last time this happened was the World Cup. After the World Cup, came back to play in that tournament, managed to beat Linköping, and then the Paris FC incident where they couldn't get it across the line, albeit so many brilliant goals that game from Alessia Russo, and I think Stephen Blackstenius scored in that one as well. But it's important to make sure that you finish and get into that playoff. If you end up, luckily there's the safety net this coming season, is that we're going to have the basically it's the Europa League, but it's going to be like the old UEFA Cup where it's 2 legs each way, and then as well as in the final. But it's just one of those where you want to be finishing second because that gives you more of a safety net. But either way, if you do get knocked out, you've still got European football. You're not going to be playing in the group stage of the Conti Cup. Well, it's not the Conti Cup anymore. It's the Subway Cup next season. So it is important to make sure that you do finish as best as you can. But what's made it more intriguing is the fact that there's only a couple of points in it, and it could all be decided this weekend without even kicking the ball. Should City lose to United, United would guarantee themselves Champions League football as well as Arsenal. Then it's a case of come whatever happens against Brighton. And on the following Sunday, second and third will be decided. But it's going to be difficult because United have somehow managed to, against all odds, get themselves really defensively solid this season. So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen, but Arsenal have to make sure that they go and get the job done. The good news is whenever Arsenal do lose, they go and score at least 4 goals in the next game. So, so if we're going to look towards Brighton, there's always that opportunity. They're not going to have Michelle Ackerman as well, because she's going to be cup tied. And it's a team that we do quite well against as well in the past. Obviously, there's have been those incidences like the game being called off like an hour before the game's meant to be kicked off and things like that. But it's important that they go into these knowing that if they're going to play, essentially it's an audition for that final. Like they've got to make sure that they are 100% giving their all, making sure that they give 100%, and if anything else is a bonus at the end of the day. But at the moment, second is the priority because you want to get that rest come the end of the European Championships, because a lot of these players are not going to get a rest.
No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it is important, and I mean, would it not be if Man United were to lose at the weekend and we beat Brighton? That means we've got second place already before the last game, doesn't it?
Yes.
So that would be a great scenario to be in, having no pressure on that last game. Obviously, we want to win. It's at the Emirates and it's Man United and what have you. But at least I'd like to go into that game with second place already sealed, rather than needing a result to guarantee it, because there's a bit more pressure. We're going to have to play our first strongest team in that game. There's a risk with a final so close and stuff like that. So let's get it sorted this weekend. Man United lose, we win. Let's get it done. And then we can relax and enjoy the Man United game without no pressure. Hopefully make some changes and rest players for the final, and it won't matter too much. So, but yeah, no, second place is important. Absolutely, it is really important. And we need to make sure that we get it. Lucky says there, sorry guys, I might be stupid, but can you explain why finishing second is more important than third? Well, yes, if you finish third, you have to go through that ridiculous qualifying competition.
Like we did,
yeah, like we had the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come second, you go straight into a playoff to qualify for the stage. So it's less games. You start slightly later on in the summer, so you get more of a break, and it's just better to be second. And there is an advantage to finishing second, and it actually makes sense. So yeah, it is important. Absolutely, it is important. But I don't want to risk getting key players injured in these last 2 league games. I really don't, because I want to go to that final against Barcelona with our full strength team, because I think we'll have a good chance. If we've got a couple of key players injured and missing, then it's going to be impossible. Yeah, it is almost impossible. So, I mean, what do you make these last 2 games? And obviously, we want to finish second, don't we? But it's not worth risking everyone, is it, in these last 2 games? You don't want to risk injury. I don't want to risk injuries. I'm so worried about players getting injured now.
Yeah, big time. Well, actually, I'll tell you. Yeah. Listen, that's down to Renee. We got to trust her judgment, and she'll be fine. Next, she'll be fine. More importantly, we do the unthinkable, and I'm always keeping the faith. We win the Champions League, the biggest party ever. We go straight into it, don't we?
Yeah.
End of.
Yeah, but is it easier in the position that we're in? It's easier to finish second in the league than to beat Barcelona in the final, probably, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, I get that, Rich. I get that.
At least it's a backup plan, isn't it? If we do finish third, at least we've got the backup plan of winning the final, haven't we? I suppose.
I know. Oh, look. Oh, sorry. And I really don't. I'm such a nice person, and I like Manu, but a lot of it is down to her, because it is affecting our players, even the ones that ain't played so much. They've got no faith in her, and I don't want people to watch this and say I'm hating on her, because I really like her. Her passion is second to none.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
As a person, I actually follow her on Instagram. She's lovely, but unfortunately, she's just not up to it. Fact.
No, exactly, and I think it's important for people to understand that there's nothing wrong with saying that as a goalkeeper, Manu Zinsberger is not as good as she used to be, and in fact, she's not good enough for us if we want to progress and be successful. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. And it doesn't mean we don't like her. It doesn't mean we don't like her as a person. She's just not good enough as a football player anymore.
It is a fact.
Play for a club like Arsenal that want to go on and win big trophies and be successful. And that's the way it is. It's a fact of life. Players get older and they're not quite as good as they were. And we've mentioned before about sentimentality with the players. We can't afford to be sentimental. We have to look at what's best for the team to be successful. And if it means getting rid of some players, and I think in the summer we could see a few players leave that maybe have been here for a while, and that's unfortunately what happens in football and in sport, and you have to accept that. And it's not a bad thing if they're replaced by better players, then that's fine. No one's got an issue with that, because we'll become a better team and we've got more chance of being successful. And it's no good hanging on to these players. For what reason, I don't know. I can't see if Manu Zinsberger is still an Arsenal player next season. I think questions need to be asked. Why is she still an Arsenal
I agree. Totally agree.
She's not good, and and we do like her as a person, of course we do, and what she's done for the club. But now we're looking in the here and now as a player, as a footballer. Sorry. If she's still here next season, we need to be asked about what direction the club want to be moving, because we need better. It's not just her; we need better in other positions as well, other areas of the team, other players who may be past their best now. We don't want to. It's difficult to sometimes think about, but I think Beth Mead's another one who could be past her best. And
I'm going to totally agree with that, and I'm not being horrible.
I love Beth. She's one of my favourite players.
One of her biggest. Listen, she's been amazing, but I think it goes back to the whole injury thing. I think there's another issue here about the whole Viv thing. I'll be more surprised if she stays, because it's going to affect her personal life. But then, will City want her? Not being rude. Will there be a place for her in City?
Well, maybe. I mean, they've lost Chloe Kelly, haven't they? They're probably going to lose Chloe Kelly permanently.
Do you know what? Sorry, can I just say, in recent years, I've done the Lionesses. I'm a bit fickle next, and I've really enjoyed it. And as a Lioness, Chloe Kelly, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know she played for back in the day for us. I've only learnt this more recently, and I liked her as a lioness, and yeah, I know she did something amazing. But when it went back to deadline day, and suddenly I was seeing it all on Instagram, and I was talking to my Dutch friend, and I said, "Hang on, I think we're getting Chloe Kelly," and I suddenly felt quite excited about that, because prior to that, I really hadn't taken. I know she's a very good player, but I hadn't taken much notice of her. And since she's been at Arsenal, and well, she got a number, she's come back home. And the fact that I've been privileged to go to the Emirates and see her, and the way she reads a game, I'm really impressed with her. And I'm sorry, get her back home, sign her next. Yeah,
no, I agree.
Good player.
And I actually think if you look at what we've seen of Chloe Kelly so far for Arsenal, and then what we've seen of Beth Mead this season, I think Chloe Kelly is an upgrade.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I've got to agree.
And I say, and that's nothing against Beth, because I absolutely love Beth Mead. I think she's such a fantastic person. She's still a good player, but she's not reached the level that she was at before her injury. And there's lots of different reasons for that. And I agree, maybe that whole Viv thing hasn't helped the situation.
I think that is part of it. Sorry, can I just say, and I don't, because I really don't meet many famous people, and if I do, half the time I don't see them, but when we were coming,
what more do you want? Come on.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, fame. I got to meet on the tube. We got on at Oakwood. They got on at Foster's. I got to see Beth Mead's dad, and I don't know if it's her auntie, whatever. And I already knew who he was, because I do all that stuff. And there was these other women who were Arsenal fans, and they were a bit annoying, if I'm honest. And they were banging on, and the whole time I'm just watching him, and he probably clocked that I knew who he was. And lovely, down to earth Yorkshireman. Oh, by the way, he supports Man U. Can you believe that? He openly admitted that he's a Man U supporter. But two things he come out with, because he was kind of getting quizzed, that Viv didn't want to leave, and I thought, okay, interesting one there. I'm not calling him a liar, but I think maybe slightly put on the spot. And the other thing was about, well, there's another one coming up, but about Beth come at the end of season, because she'll be out of contract, and what's going to happen with her. So I'm just sitting there, the polite person I am, nodding. And then his best one, he said that Viv is a messy cow, because she obviously was, she is a messy cow. And he said it with great affection, but messy next. But very nice man next. And obviously he's been through his bereavement. And this was at the start of it was the first game, obviously. And it was just pure chance that we saw him. But sorry, I digress. Back to the whole Beth Mead thing. She'll be out.
Actually, that is a great story, that meeting Beth Mead's dad on the tube. That's pretty cool.
He's a lovely man. Thanks. But, I don't often get to see him, but nice one. But back to Beth Mead. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we'll see what happens at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if she does leave. LG says Beth has been back for 2 years now, and we haven't seen anything special from her. I think her time is up. She's turning 30 next week. Well, exactly. And I kind of agree with you. I think that it's just a shame she got injured when she did, because at that time she was on top of the world, and she was incredible. She was unplayable actually at that point, and it's a shame that. I think the injury, age, as you've said, and one or two other things behind the scenes, maybe that we haven't seen the best of Beth Mead since that injury 2 years ago. So, I kind of, it is a shame when a player like that declines, I suppose, in front of your eyes, which is what we've seen, and it's a shame. But I love Beth, but I think we have to look to the future, and maybe the future is going to be beyond a few of the players that we've currently still got in the squad. I think we might be having to say goodbye to some great players that's been really good servants to the club and have brought us success in the past. And I think that's a sad time, but we have to look at what's best for the club going forward. Lucky says we should get Olivia Smith over signing Kelly. Why not keep Kelly and get Olivia Smith as well?
No. Chloe, I've fallen in love with Chloe. She ain't going anywhere.
I love Chloe. I would keep Chloe 100%. We should keep Chloe Kelly and get Olivia Smith as well.
I don't think you can, but seriously.
Lucky said Chelsea will buy mead, they buy everything else. Yeah, that's true. If it's up for sale, they'll probably buy. Well, not up for sale, but it should be free. But yeah, wouldn't be surprised. Greg says we can't worry about the final. We've got to win the games in front of us first. We've got to play our best team available for each game. I mean, yeah, I know you're right deep down. I know you're right. I just don't want to risk any of the key players getting injured. Lucky says Kim Little's getting on too. Well, she is, but Kim Little's had a proper revitalisation, hasn't she? Like in recent games, she's been brilliant. The last, I don't know, obviously we'll forget the Aston Villa game, but, you know, both the Lyon games, she was fantastic. She's been playing really well before that as well. So Kim Little, well, yeah, she is getting on a bit. She's certainly, maybe she's fit now. I don't know whether she was injured before. She didn't look herself, did she, much of the season? But now, wow, she's been fantastic. So maybe that new contract she's got for another year, maybe that's not a bad thing now. Maybe next year
God
we can get
bless her little wee legs. End of.
Yeah,
legs,
exactly. Yeah. Her little legs, exactly. They're certainly covered some ground in them 2 Lyon games, didn't they? Christ, she was everywhere, weren't she? Both of them games, brilliant. Like he says there, Richie said, like you said before, players can get injured in training, so don't worry about it. Yeah, no, you're right. They can get injured in training, absolutely, and they do. They have done. So, yeah, I suppose you can't protect them completely, can you? You just have to maybe go with it. Anyway, LG says Leah Volti might leave also. Well, she might do, but we don't really want her to leave, do we? Because of Mariona. So,
yeah, I think that's a bit of a package, guy. I think we're all right with Leah Volti. Yeah, we'll fine. One is fine. Yeah, next.
We might have to keep Leah Volti for a bit longer, actually. Terry says support the club, the players they come and go. No, exactly, yeah, they do. You're right, and we can't.
Right. You are right.
And it's a shame when certain players go, but there you go. LG's made a good point here. Shakira Martinez is another one. She is to be honest with you, she's the one player I really do want us to sign. I mean, she's got I think it's 9 goals in 10 games for West Ham. She's absolutely ripping it up in the WSL, and yeah, what a great signing she would be. Get her and Olivia Smith. Wow, we'd be cooking, wouldn't we? That would be 2 good signings if we can get them. Yeah, Martinez just brilliant. What a great player she is already. Wow, but no, you're right. Yeah, but it's going to be a big summer, isn't it? And you know, we're in a Champions League final, so we're in a great position for the transfer market now, aren't we? We are a very, very attractive club. We play at the Emirates. We're getting 40, 50,000 fans watching us on a regular basis at home. We're competing in Europe. You know, hopefully we'll finish second in the league. Everything's in place for top players to want to come. We've got players like Mariona. We've got some, you know, we've got great players. We've got Leah Williamson. You know, we've got some really great players in our squad.
We've got the golden girl who's going to get the golden boot. Move over, Bunny, and you are so good, Bunny. I read, but we got Leslie. She's going to win the golden boot. Woo, woo, woo. Hopefully.
Let's hope so. Yeah. No. Yeah.
She needs to cut the more goals, doesn't she?
Leslie's had a great season. There's no doubt about that. And you know, she's a great player. And you know, there's not another one. You know, she's come in, and you know, we got her from a rival. You know, we've got Mariona. Rival, and that's what we need to do. We need to pinch the best players from our rivals and weaken them and strengthen us, and then we've got a good chance, haven't we? But it's going to be a big summer, and let's see what happens. Lucky said we're always being linked with Trinity Rodman. Yeah, I mean we mentioned that before. Matt mentioned Trinity Rodman a bit earlier, and she's a good player as well. Yeah, let's get as many good players as we can. Let's get all the players that we can get, and then you know. That's the way we're going to overtake Chelsea and Barcelona and everybody else. So, but, you know, we may well be going into next season as European champions. So, you know, wouldn't that be cool?
Who knows? You never know.
Imagine that. I mean, I thought when England won the Euros a couple of years ago, I thought that was one of the greatest moments I'd experienced watching football. One of the greatest moments. But if I were to win the Champions League this year, I think that would probably top that, actually. I think that would actually.
You know what? I so get what you're saying, Rich, particularly because everybody who knows me well, I so diss the men in Champions League. Yeah, it'd be nice if they got it, but they probably won't next. Hope they do, but fact. But for the women, and I think the privilege of going to the semi-final and how well we did with our depleted team, it was so beautiful. And yeah, just I don't care if I just watch it on DAZN. I'm blessed to actually watch it. But yeah, if we win this, I'm just going to be like, oh, I'll be going mental, and I'm not overly woo, but yeah, I could be going mental. It'll be brilliant.
I do think it will be probably one of the greatest moments ever that we could witness. Absolutely, it will be. So, but we've got a tough ask ahead of us. We know that, but we're one of only 2 teams that can win it. So why not? It's 50-50 game, isn't it?
You never know.
It's a one-off final. We've seen bigger things before. LG says there, that's always been a criticism of Arsenal as a whole. We finish season strongly and then we don't build or capitalise on it in the summer and we pay the price. It has happened, yeah, it's happened a few times, absolutely it has. But we can't afford to do that now, can we? In the Champions League final, this is the moment to push on next season. We've got to push on and go for it, and hopefully we will. Postcards from Protest says, Russo is world class. Jonas didn't know how to get the best from her. Marnham never passes to her, so you can't play them both. Controversial, but I would let Marnham go. Ooh, I think Marnham doesn't need. Does she not pass to? I've not really noticed that she doesn't pass to Russo. Actually, I know she wants to more pass. She wants to pass to Stina because Stina's her mate, and she always wants to pass. I was just going to say
that. Yeah, it's all about those two.
But I've not actually noticed Frida not passing. I'm going to start looking out for that now because you put that in my head. Have you noticed that, Andreas? That Marnham doesn't pass to Russo? I haven't.
I wouldn't say she does not pass to Leslie, but the connection between Frida and Stina is better than between Frida.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
The passing ways or knowing where she runs, also this works better between Frida and Stina. But it's a difficult thing to talk about. Frida. She is important, but is she still as good as she was 2 years ago? If we can get an upgrade for her position, we should think about her too. But we can't get rid of all players. We need most players from our squad and just a few positions. And it's the wings. I think both wings we need more options because there's also Lina Hurtig. We all like her when she is fit and playing, but it's rarely. And she will go. Maybe Beth will go. So we need new blood on the wings, more pace for our wingers. You can't let 7-8 players go and bring 8 or 9 new players in. This doesn't work. And the other thing is to attract world-class players, we must be in the Champions League. And it's not enough to be in the final and lose against Barcelona, maybe 4-1 or 4-0, and finish third in the league.
We're going to lose 4-0 or 4-1.
The worst case, but let this happen and then finish third in the league. And then you want to sign world-class players, and they say, "Oh, playing this shitty mini tournament August and not knowing whether I can play Champions League, or I don't sign for Arsenal." It's they have 40,000 to play Champions League. So this finishing second is so important to attract world-class players to us, and we need to sign some upgrades for several positions.
Yeah, no, we do absolutely we do, and I wouldn't necessarily say Frida Marnham was one player that I would look at and say I think she's a good squad player, and I think she does a good job when she plays. And should she be starting every single game? No, I think we do need someone better, absolutely. But I think she's a good squad player to have. When you're looking at the players on the bench or the changes that came into the team the other night, and I think Frida is a better option than some of those players to play in as a rotation player and come off the bench in games. She generally scores a lot of goals. So I think she's definitely worth keeping it at the club. I would say there's more players that we need to replace maybe than her. LG says at least Frida can shoot, unlike her compatriot in the men's team. Well, yeah, that's true. She likes a good shot, doesn't she, Frida? Postcards from Protest makes a good point. Definitely need an out-and-out left winger. I like Caitlin Ford, I really do. I think she's had a good season, but yeah, I think you're right. We don't have a natural real player there, do we? I don't think that's Caitlin Ford's most natural position. So yeah, I think you're right. Greg says Marna makes bad decisions at crucial times. No, she does. I agree with you. She doesn't always make the right decisions in that final third. She shoots when she should pass. She passes when she should shoot sometimes. And yeah, she doesn't always make those good decisions, but I still think she's a useful squad player to have because she does score goals, crucial goals and good goals as well. And and as LG said, at least she's prepared to take a shot on sometimes from outside the box, and we don't do that enough. And I quite like that. Have a shot because you never know what can happen. Deflections, they go in, you win a corner, whatever it might be. So yeah, no, I would keep Frida, but yeah, there are 2 or 3 others that maybe are past their best. So before we finish, then we have got a game, of course. It's on Monday, which is a bank holiday, so that's all right. We can watch it. It's going to be good, and it is our penultimate match of the season, our last away game in the WSL as well. And looking at it, it's a game we sort of need a win. So I think it's obviously we need to put the Villa game behind us and forget it, pretend it never happened, and start afresh with the Brighton game. When you look at our league performances in recent weeks, has been good. We've been scoring a lot of goals. We're playing pretty well. Brighton's a team that we've got a good record against. We did win, was it 4-0 here in the Continental Cup earlier in the season away at Brighton. So I think it does depend on the whole mindset issue with us, doesn't it? Are we just too distracted by the final? Can we focus on this game and subsequently the Man United game? We've got to do it because we're professionals and we need to get the job done. As you said, we need to come second, but it's not ideal, is it? When you've reached a game as big as we've reached, it would be the biggest game of a lot of their players' career. And in the back of their mind, I thought it was on Wednesday. In the back of their mind, they may be thinking, "I'm one bad tackle away from an injury and missing the final." And do you want to throw yourself in? I mean, Katie McCabe will, but do you want to throw yourself into these tackles that normally you wouldn't think twice about? And is that in the back of your mind? I don't know. I'd hope it isn't, but I kind of think it could be. But we have to go out against Brighton, and whatever team's picked, we have to do better than we did on Wednesday, and we have to pick up the 3 points, don't we? However we do it, however scrappy it might be. I'm not expecting a brilliant performance, if I'm honest. I'm not expecting the free-flowing football we've seen so many times. It's a game that we just have to get through and find a way to win it. Do a Chelsea on them, scrape a 1-0 against a run of play even, just find a way to win, and that's all that matters, really. I mean, Andreas, do you think there's going to be a lot of changes? Do you think that, we're going to rest players, or will we go quite strong because we know we have to win, especially if Man United have lost?
Yeah, that's the advantage for us that we are playing on Monday. Man United is playing against City on Sunday, as far as I know. So we know what we have to do. If United loses on Sunday, then then a draw would be good, maybe good enough for us because we have the better goal difference. So, but the other thing is you don't want to go with players in a Champions League final that who haven't played for 3 or 4 weeks in a competitive game. So you can't rest Emily Fox and Leah Williamson and Kim Little and Leslie Russo for the next 2 games and say, we won't risk any injuries, but then they haven't played 3-4 weeks in a competitive game, and then you can't send them in a final. So let's look one game after the other, and I think it's a lesson. I hope it's a lesson learned after the Villa game, and everybody is willing to do better and wants to show a better performance and get the 3 points. Renee has learned, I hope, and she will bring a strong lineup, and every player who goes out on the pitch doesn't want to get humiliated again. So 5-2 against Villa and 4-0 against Brighton. No, you don't want this. Even for your self-confidence, you want to win this game. And so, my prediction, it depends. We have Manu in goal, so there won't be a clean sheet. Probably we have to score 3 goals to win. And
let's pray. Let's just pray.
I say 3-2 was Brighton. Frank Kirby, always good for a goal. And but the good thing is Brighton is not playing a deep block, and they are playing at home. I think they will try to have an open game, and let's say we win 3-2 there. I would be satisfied with the result. And let's go.
Exactly. We just need to find a way to win. Exactly right. And it doesn't matter if it's 1-0 or if it's 3-2 or if whatever it is, it doesn't matter too much. And I don't think it's going to be pretty, if I'm totally honest. I'm not expecting it to be, but we just need to win. I mean, Matt, do you think that there'll be a lot of changes? I mean, not necessarily from the Villa game, but changes from the regular first 11? Or do you think Rene's going to go quite strong and let's get the second place done?
I think there might be a reversion back to the team that took on Lyon. I think for definite, it's going to be a case of making sure it's done and dusted. That way, you don't have to worry about that. But I think the manager has already made their mind up on who's going to be, head coach has decided already who's going to be playing. The only question is about who's going to be 100% ready. If someone's not 100%, so if Daphne's not 100% because of the injury that she might be carrying, then there's no point in risking her for the sake of it. So it's going to be taken into account. So if that's the only change that might happen, would be everyone else comes in bar Daphne, depending on her situation. Obviously, we won't know about that because the press conference hasn't come out or anything to say about injury issues or anything like that. So I would expect most likely that it to be pretty similar to that Lyon squad, the team that.
Matt was just getting in his flow then, and he's disappeared. But I'm sure he'll be back. Hang on, I think he's back now. We'll just go back in your normal place. There we go. Yeah, he's got the issues I was having before. Look, it seems to be happening to everybody today. I don't know what's going on with the cameras.
Gremlins.
It's the gremlins are attacking us. I think it's Manu Zinsberger's family want to take us off the air because
probably is. I love you, Manu. Don't hate me. Please don't hate me.
We love you really. We just don't want you to play in goal. That's all.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of where we are with it. But now, go on, Matt. Sorry, you disappeared. Are you back?
Yeah, I was just trying to wrap up that basically, if anything it was going to be the same Lyon team that we saw win that game 4-1 fantastically. But depending on what's happening with Daphne, we will probably most likely see Manu in goal unless Rene makes the decision on playing Naomi Williams in goal.
Yeah, I don't think she will, if I'm honest, but who knows? I mean, what will be your score prediction then, Matt? Obviously, Andreas has gone 3-2. What are you going for?
I think it will be a lot closer than people think. I think it will be a 2-1 to Arsenal.
Well, we'll take that all day long. That will do nicely. A 2-1 will satisfy. That will satisfy us. The 3 points is all that matters, really, isn't it? I mean, Andy, what are you kind of thinking for Monday then? Do you think that there will it be like a more of a second string team, or do you think we're just going to go for it, go full strength, get the job done, and then
I think what most good coaches, managers would normally do. Yeah, there's a whole thing about, but if you don't play them, it's all that jazz. I think get your strong players out first. Get something out of the game, and then get the speed team out. And because I'll tell you now, Brighton, and I don't even know who their keeper is, but suddenly she'll be world class. Do you know what I mean? Next, it's a fact. Whenever it's the Arsenal, it's a fact. Next, yeah. And sorry, it's going to be, no disrespect to the young girl, but yeah, it's going to be Manu next. And actually, do you know what? I'm going to be very sweet to that young girl. I wouldn't even want to put her in that position. She's not ready for it. Why? No, I wouldn't even want to put her in that position. Maybe. No, I'm being really kind there, actually. Listen, we've got to deal with Manu next. Oh, maybe she has a couple of half-decent games. Let's pray next. Maybe she'll... Yeah, she might do something. She does.
That'd be a miracle, wouldn't it? She might actually save one.
I don't know. Let's pray. That's all I keep saying. Listen, I don't even play football next, but yeah, get your proper players. I'm sorry, that sounds really bad, but it's the fact. Yeah, get the first team out, and then Yeah, rest them up. Yeah, do the business. Oh, look, I don't care if we just get a 1-0. I'll be so happy. Next. Because that's all that counts. We got the goal difference.
Exactly. It's all,
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we just need to. Well, we need to win our last 2 games. We're guaranteed second.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Draw will probably be enough anyway. If we beat Brighton and draw in Man U, that's probably going to be enough. So. Yeah, so let's get the job done. That's all I say. Let's get the job done on Monday. I'm actually tempted to maybe start with a strong team and then get the game won and then make some changes later on. Just a few players if we're in that position. Maybe that's the better option because we have to win the game. And we saw the other night that making lots of changes isn't really going to help.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Brighton are a good team on their day. They've got some good players. They can cause problems there. I think they're 5th or 6th in the league, aren't they? They're no mugs. So, we need to take it seriously and we need to be on our game. And if we do that, then I'm sure we can get the result. But let's see. Emerson's with us. He's gone 3-1. That'll do. 3-1 would be very, very nice. We will take that all day long. Ryan's gone 3-1 as well. Terry's agreeing with Ange, which is good. Which is like LG
Thank you,
says.
Barbara.
I hope the fans have now accepted that Mariona was an upgrade on Viv. With Viv, it was just emotional attachment from our fans. It had nothing to do with her performances past injury. No, I agree. And I don't think there's much doubt now that Mariona if you could only have one or the other this season, the right choice was Mariona. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Never really got back from her injury. She's had injury issues this season at Man City. And look where Man City are in the league. Look what happened to them in Europe. Look where we are. I don't think there's much doubt we made the right choice there. As much as we love what she did, it was brilliant. I agree. I think that we got a better player now in Mariona. Right now, she's a better player. And I think that's all you can do, isn't it? Upgrade the players that you've got. And I think that's what we need to do. 170 Gunner says, if we lose to Brighton, we will be under serious pressure in the last game. Well, we could finish 4th, I suppose, if Man City would. I don't think. Can Man City still catch us? Oh, yeah, I think they can if we lost both our games, potentially. I don't think that's going to happen, though, is it? I don't think it will.
No, I don't think it's right.
Question, Frank. Can you mention that I have won a Rising fan badge on the UEFA Women's official fan page? Wow. Yeah, there you go. Emerson's flying at a minute. Look at that. He's got a Rising fan badge. That's great stuff. Well done, my friend. Really deserved as well. Exactly deserved. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, most people think we're going to win. We should win, shouldn't we? Let's be honest. Terry says we should have taken the points we need from Villa, Brighton, and Man U shouldn't have mattered. Well, yeah, but it does now because Villa, did we? So we can only
we're the comeback queens. Keep the faith, Nick. It'll be fine. If it ain't, it ain't. We have to deal with it. Fact.
Well, we do, but yeah, I mean, I think we should have enough about us to get the points we need in these last 2 games.
Yeah, I think so.
And still be competitive in the
we
final.
like a bit of a drama. Come on, it's Arsenal.
We do. We love a bit of a drama. And at the end of the day, there's no point, is there? There's no point going to Brighton and winning 5-0, then beating Man United 5-0 and getting second place easily.
Oh, that's so boring, isn't it?
Do it the hard way, won't we? We'll probably draw with Brighton. We'll be losing 2-0 to Man United and we're on the brink of coming third. And then we'll score 3 goals in the last 5 minutes and win.
Exactly.
And it'll all be brilliant, but we'll go through the ringer first because that's always what happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's probably what's going to happen. But either way, we're going to get second place, and we're going to go into the final absolutely buzzing because we've finished second, and we've finished the season strongly, which we need to do. And Aston Villa was a blip. Someone said it was something in the road, a bump in the road or something, and I think that's probably true.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the circumstances around that game is fair enough. But what we can't do is we can't have a repeat on Monday. That's it. It happened, and that's it. And we have to say, right, that's it. Let's move on, and hopefully we can come back on Monday with a better result and get the job done. And I'm sure we will. But whatever happens, we have got a Champions League final to look forward to at the end of this month. Incredible stuff. 22 days time. We are in Lisbon and we are in the Champions League final. I still can't actually believe it. It doesn't seem real. I don't think it'll seem real,
isn't it?
Walking out of the tunnel with the Champions League music going in the game. I don't think it's going to seem real till then. So, but yeah, it's been a brilliant week, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Aston Villa aside, it's incredible to think that where we were when we lost to Bayern Munich, to be in the final now, it's almost impossible to believe. But it's true.
So good.
And and I think most neutrals are sick of Barcelona anyway, winning it.
Oh yeah, come on then.
And I think most neutral fans are going to be supporting Arsenal in that final because
it's an underdog thing.
To get there. Yeah,
we are the underdogs. I do it in the men's FA Cup. I do that in the men's FA Cup because Arsenal men are a bit stupid. Next, they can't do that anymore. But yeah, I will watch certain games with the underdog, and when they win, I really enjoy that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I think there'll be a lot of people that will be supporting Arsenal for that reason, and I think that's going to be a good story. It's a good story anyway, isn't it? But it's going to be really, really cool that we're going to have the support of most neutrals, I think, on the day. We can beat Man City in an FA Cup final, so of course we can do it. Of course we can do it. But we worry about the final a bit closer to the time. We have got 2 big games still to come. We have to win, and we have to get second place, as we've said. So let's get that job done first, and then we'll have a couple of weeks to sit back and relax and look forward to what is going to be an incredible day for the club and everyone involved. It's just sensational, isn't it? So we look forward to that. Terry says loser mentality rather than underdog thing. No, we're not. You don't get to a Champions League final with a loser mentality, do you?
Hey, my man, come on now. Seriously?
Yeah. Lucky says, I've been told Chelsea fans about the Barca game. I'm very sure they won't want us. No, they won't want us to win. No, of course Chelsea won't. Everybody else. Chelsea aren't really neutral, are they? Because we've got that rivalry with.
They're just vile. They have no class. They win a lot of stuff, but next.
Yeah, exactly. They're the Man City women's game, aren't they? Greg says, expect the worst and hope for the best. That's always been the Arsenal way ever since I first watched them.
You never know.
Pretty much where it should be. But I've got no expectations about the final, really. I'm just so delighted we're in it. And whatever happens, and it's still a great achievement for the club. Yes, I know we should want to win, and we want to win, of course we do, but no one would have expected us to even be here. Yeah. So the fact that we're in the final, we've done our expectations already. So we can't really lose the final. If we lose the game, we lose the game, and everyone expects us to lose realistically because they're Barcelona. They scored 8 against Chelsea, which no one does. Most teams don't score 8 against Chelsea in 10 years, and Barca did it in 2 games. So of course, everyone expects us to lose, hoping we might not. So whatever happens in the final, for me, it's a success because we're in there. Realistically, we shouldn't be in the final, and we are. We've overachieved. So, but let's go. And obviously, when the game starts, of course, we all want to win it. Of course, we do. And we can. There's absolutely no doubt. Greg says, we've had that one, yeah. And 170 Gunner says, what does it mean? What does it mean? I don't get what the question is. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, we've got 2 big games to win, and then we can look forward to the final, and we can't wait for that, can we? So yes, it is, of course, Friday evening. The Arsenal Women's Show is just about to finish, which means only one thing: the weekend can officially start. We can enjoy, and the fact is that we can enjoy this weekend because we're not playing till Monday, so we haven't got to worry. We can just sit back in the sunshine and wait till Monday, sort of early evening, and watch the game, which would be good. Andreas, good to have you with us again. Have you enjoyed the show? Of course, it's been a great week.
Yeah, of course, I enjoyed being in the show, and let's just enjoy the next 3 weeks. It's just something special, and as we said in the beginning, maybe it's a once in a lifetime experience we have. If it takes another 18 years to reach Champions League final, so I don't know whether I will be able to watch football then. So let's enjoy the next 3 weeks. It's something we never expected, and so don't be negative. Let's cross fingers for Monday to bring this home, what's needed in the league, and then but besides this, just hope that no injuries will occur, and just enjoy this time. As I said, I was in Cologne for the German Cup final, and my Munich friends, everybody said, congratulations, and it must be a great time for you. And one said, you must be on cloud number 9. I said, yes, I am. And I won't come down for the next 3 weeks. This is what I mean. Let's just enjoy this time. It's special.
It is special, and we need to enjoy it. And the fact that the final's a few weeks off is maybe a good thing, because it gives us a chance to enjoy it and not have to think, oh my God, the final's next week, and get that. We've got a few weeks now where we hopefully enjoy the last couple of league games, get the results we need, and then we can really enjoy this time, because it is a special time, and it isn't something that has happened very often. It's only obviously the second time the women have ever been Champions League final, only the third time an Arsenal team has been in the Champions League final, so we need to enjoy it, don't we? And all the build up and everything. Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back on, my friend. It's been great to see you. I'm glad you're well. Great to have you on the show. Did you enjoy being back?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. I know it's been a bit too long, but unfortunately work and things have gotten in the way, but it was great to be back, and now got a fantastic opportunity now to go and do something, make a really meaningful season. You can talk about parallels. The last time that Arsenal did win the Champions League, Arsenal were against a Numia side that had a Martyr squad. So you're talking about an underdog story already. We've got one that was very parallel to one where they won it in 2007. So it's all to play for. That's just, I think Andres has said it best. So just hopefully when come Monday that we get the results that needed, and hopefully we can just go and play United without having that no bars hold, I think is the best way to put it. But I'm looking forward to hopefully a nice sunny Monday where we can just sit back and relax with a nice drink and just watch that game without any hassles, knowing that Arsenal got that second place tied up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Let's hope so. We can obviously enjoy the build up to the final. Terry says, "Thanks, Richard, all audio and Matt." He said, "Great to see you again, and don't leave it so long next time. We've all missed you." Yeah, we have all missed you. What I'm thinking of doing is doing a really special show before the final. Get everybody on that's ever been on the show, and that'd be nice to get you back.
That'd be cool.
Get everybody else make a real big, massive deal out of it, because it is a big deal at the end of the day, and we all want to enjoy it together, don't we? So we'll definitely sort something out for that before the final comes around. And as well, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since you've been on, actually. Well, not quite as long as Matt.
I know. Life has kind of got in the way, more so work than anything else. Another story, but no, I'm always here in the background. Brilliant to be back, and all I can say is keep the faith. Trust our girls. Trust Renee. Yeah. It'll come good. She really hasn't let us down as such, has she? To be fair.
Not really, no. I mean,
she hasn't. For a young... Well, all right, I know she did so. Was it in Sweden, wherever? Because to be honest, I've never heard of her next. So I've been pleasantly surprised, because I'm really not that au fait with women's football. Sorry, you let me, but it's a fact. But yeah, I think she's done really well. And yeah, there's a few here, but I hate to say it, compared to Teta, I think she's doing really well. Next.
I mean, she can't have done any more really than what she's done from when she took over to the fact that where we are now, we're on the brink of getting second place in the league. We're in the Champions League final. I don't think you could have, she could have got to the FA Cup final.
All right, I am very biased. I love the FA Cup, but it is what it is.
She can't have done a lot more than she has done. So
she's done
such a great job, and we're all happy. Ryan says, "Trust Renee, Terry." Yeah, I think we all need to give Renee a bit of trust. She's done a remarkable job in a short space of time, and it's just a start, isn't it? We need, as I said, she needs to build on this next season. The club need to build on it, and let's hope that this time next year we'll be sitting here not only looking forward to another Champions League final, but it'll be us that's just won the WSL, not Chelsea. We've got it back in our hands again for the first time in 6-7 years. So let's hope that's what we're doing next year. But we've got a lot to look forward to still, haven't we? 2 big games in the league, and of course, the big one, Champions League final. We are there. We are in the final, Lisbon, on the 24th of May. Wow, I still can't believe it's true. It is true. We did beat Lyon 4-1. It was fantastic, and we're proud of the girls, and we're proud of Renee. We're proud of everybody, all the fans that were there, and everything else. So we've got a lot to be grateful for at this moment in time, haven't we? LG says, "I really thought after Chelsea in October we would finish outside the top 3 and be eliminated in the group stages. It was that bad." No, absolutely right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The turnaround from that point to now, I thought the top three was going to be a massive job. I wasn't even thinking about the Champions League after that Bayern Munich game. I thought, well, if we get through the group, we've done well. But so to get to the final, wow! I mean, yeah, Renee has had. Yeah, I've not always thought she was necessarily the right choice at the time. I wanted someone a bit more experienced. Chelsea lost Salty Emma and got Sonia Bonpasta, who's won everything, and I felt we should have been looking for someone of that ilk to come in. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody else could have done what Renee's done, as good a job as Renee's done, equal to what maybe she's done. No one could have done better than what she has in the circumstances. So we've got to be grateful for that, and let's see if she can get it over the line. Well, if she can, then it'll be what? It'll be Dame Renee, won't it? That's what she'll have to be if she wins us the Champions League.
We'll be fighting to keep her as our flipping head coach.
We will, yeah. Get a statue outside. All that. That's what. And name one of the stands after her. The Renee Slegger's stand. That's what needs to happen, definitely. I'm going to name the ground after her, the Renee Slegger Stadium. That'll do. That'll be what she should get.
Actually, that's so fitting. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? So forget Emirates. Have Renee Slegger.
Yeah, that's how I'll type next.
That's what we need. But she needs to win it first.
Yeah.
Terry says, I hope Renee misses the flight. I think that's our best chance. No, it's not. Come on.
Terry.
She's got us to the final. She's got us to the final. Come on. What more do you want? I'll be back on Monday for the Brighton game because that is going to be fun and we are going to win and we're going to enjoy it. So join me for that because that's going to be good. Next Friday, of course, we'll be back to preview the final weekend of the WSL season. Hopefully get in second place. So we'll look back on the Brighton game, look ahead to Man U. And then, of course, we will be back before the final for a massive show. Looking forward to that game. It's going to be great. We'll have to do it and fit around Andreas's. When are you flying to the final?
On Friday. But Friday morning. So, yeah, it depends on Wi-Fi and how stable it is. But I want to be in the show, of course. And
yeah, I'm sure we'll get it sorted then. It is going to be incredible. So yeah, we've got a great few weeks to come. Let's be honest. We're going to revel in the glory of being in the final. We are going to enjoy it, and it's just a great time in it. So make the most of it, guys, because these things don't always happen, do they? So we need to enjoy it. So that's it. And the weekend is now here. It is going to be a good weekend. It's a bank holiday weekend in the UK. I don't know. Is it a bank holiday weekend in Germany, Andreas?
No.
We're
normal Monday.
Oh, we are blessed.
Brighton game then, because you'll be at work, will you?
I'm working on Monday, yes. But
you better see the Brighton game though, because it's 5 o'clock kickoff or something, isn't it?
Yeah, Brighton away. So yeah, I will try to catch it on TV or the highlights. Yeah.
Oh, that's no good, is it? You see, they don't think of things like that, do they, when they schedule the games? It's all very well, we've got a bank holiday, not everyone has. So we'll have to see. Greg says, hope Manu misses the flight. Yeah, I think that's our best chance. They can get on it, but Manu maybe miss it. That'd be good. So yeah, we'll see you Monday for the game against Brighton. That's going to be good. So enjoy your weekend, and bank holiday Monday is going to be good. And we are Arsenal, and we are in the Champions League final. So thanks to all you guys for joining us in the chat. Brilliant stuff. There was so many comments tonight. I don't know if I got through them, or I tried to. So thank you for that. Please like and subscribe. Thanks to Andreas, to Ange, and of course to Matt. Fantastic to see Matt back on the channel. We've missed his smiley face, and it's great to have him back. And hopefully he'll be back again very soon for us as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It's been great. I will see you Sunday. Have a good weekend. And of course, as always, come on, you Gunners. We're in the final. Lisbon, we are coming for you. Barcelona, you are not going to hit you. See you later, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.